drink the beer, when you look around the tap room, when you see the brewery behind you, I mean, if you didn't know any better, right? You could come here, sit and drink a couple of beers. Like if you didn't know it was non-alcoholic beer, you would just assume that you were at a regular tap room like the hundreds of other ones that we've shown you here on the show. That's a conscious decision to make this feel as much like every other place, right?
Yeah, and you know what's so funny? It's happened. We've had people, we have a brewery that's across the parking lot here. We've had customers come in here, spend hours in here.
Right.
And I would talk to them about NA, and they would look at me like I was crazy. Come to find out, they thought they were next door.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So they were like, I wonder why I wasn't getting a buzz. They would invite their friends here. So it is definitely like you cannot tell that you are necessarily in a different setting. And when you have our beer, the idea is you don't really want it to taste much different either. They're going to be a little lighter. There's going to be like if you're used to having double IPAs and stouts and 10% drinks, and you have our beer, they're going to feel lighter. Why? Because there's way less alcohol. Alcohol is 7 calories per gram, so you're going to have way less calories. Because you're not going to have those calories, you're going to feel lighter, but you're not going to get that beer bloat, and you could have 4 or 5 of them leave here perfectly fine, and you literally consume a quarter of the calories that you would have otherwise.
Okay, that was my next question, because as I look at your board here, you've got the alcohol by volume, which is pretty standard for a tap room, and then you have the caloric intake, which seemed shockingly low to me.
Yeah.
And I guess this is something I probably should have known. You're saying that the calories in beer come from the alcohol.
Correct.
So, because as I'm looking at the calories here, like you could drink here for a while and not.
That's right.
Wow.
That's something I didn't even realize either. So when I think about macros, like in food, you think about protein, carbs, and fat. When you look at beer, it's like this fourth macro. The reason why it's not a macro, it has no value to you. That is why at night your body prioritizes processing alcohol before it starts to work on the other stuff. And that is why at 2 a.m. we have to wake up and we have to pee, and we wake up in the morning, you feel sluggish and your heart rate's high.
Right.
It's because your body is prioritizing getting the alcohol out, so it's going through this like hardship when you're sleeping. That's why if you do it constantly, which I learned the hard way, I gained a ton of weight. I was 260 pounds, and now I'm 200. Like there was monumental changes in my life because I just made the conscious decision to cut back, not necessarily completely abstain.
Right. Wow. So people that are very health conscious, that's probably a big part of your consumer base. People who are trying to throttle down on how much they're drinking, that's another part of who comes walking through the door. Who else is getting into NA beers these days?
So we have the ability to sell online, as I mentioned. Last year we sold 60,000 customers. We ask a survey question like, who are you? Like, do you drink? Do you drink alcohol? Turns out 75% of our customers still drink alcohol. 25% are sober, or they can't drink, meaning they're going through a medical issue, maybe they're even pregnant. Those people span the gamut from anyone who's typically like 32 to 55, but you also have these edge cases where you have a lot of seniors that come in here because they just can't drink anymore. If you're on medication, you can't have alcohol. And back to your point earlier, like if you're a beer drinker, you're gonna like the taste of this. If you ask like, well, what's the point? And you're not a beer drinker and you don't like the taste of beer, you're probably not gonna like our beer. You're not gonna magically like it. So there's 3 different kind of categories of beer. There's 0%, which would be like a Heineken Zero. Those people are definitely like religious categories tend to go to that because it's 0%
Absolutely
alcohol.
zero, okay.
Then there's alcoholic beer, which is above 0.5%, and then there's us, and we fluctuate between 0 to under 0.5%, which by the way, 0.5% alcohol by volume is equivalent to what's in orange juice, apple juice, breads. It's like nothing.
I have to imagine, Joe, for you, dry January can be something of a gateway where people will buy this because it's dry January and then they really like the taste, so then they just keep coming back.
It's our Super Bowl, and you're exactly right. So not only is it a discovery month that people are like, oh, I'm gonna try that this year, I'm gonna try to abstain, or I'm gonna try to cut back. Whether or not they go the whole month, it's irrelevant. Before I would be like, yeah, try to go the whole 31 days. Just try your best to add NA beer to what you would already be drinking. And if you miss your streak, fine.
And it seems to me as a consumer, including some NAs in the beer fridge, and being maybe a little bit more mindful about what I'm putting in my body with this information that you're giving me, that probably jumpstarts bigger changes, or can.
It is 100% the case, and you're not going to magically change your life by drinking non-alcoholic beer. What you are going to do is probably make more rational decisions.
Right.
And that's another interesting thing. So part of the survey questions we ask consumers are, when do you consume NA beer?
Right.
And it makes sense, the response that we received as the number one response is they actually designate days that they're going to drink NA versus drinking it in the same session. And the reason for that is pretty practical. I know myself, if I'm drinking alcohol, my next thing is like probably grabbing another beer. I'm not making the best rational decision. That's why after I have 2 or 3 beers, I want that burrito, or I want to I want to eat fast food, right?
Right.
Because it makes you feel like that. So when you're drinking NA and you're prioritizing that, you're probably going to be working out a little bit more. You're probably going to be eating a little healthier. You're certainly going to be consuming less calories, and your sleep, which is so important and something I neglected for many years, is going to be significantly better.
Wow, that's terrific. Well, the health benefits sound incredible, but if it doesn't taste delicious, then what are we doing here?
Exactly.
Now, what beer is this that I have?
So this is our Sunshine State. It's one of the most popular beers we have.
Sunshine State.
Sunshine
So
State,
when you
yeah.
come to Naperville, this will be available on tap.
That's available, yeah. We have 14 NA beers on tap right now, and we have a lot online.
So it's called Sunshine State because there's like a mango orangey thing going on. This is marvelous.
So that is a mango peach IPA.
Mango peach.
Mango peach. It's made with real fruits. It has citra hops in it as well. So it has this really nice balance of this fruit flavor, but not overly hoppy.
You know, this would be good with breakfast.
You know what's funny is that we have a mocktail we created called Beer for Breakfast, and you can take that, pour orange juice on it, or a Pilsner and pour orange juice, and it's fantastic.
This would be terrific for breakfast because, wow. I mean, and that's not something I would ordinarily say about an IPA. What an incredible place this is. The beer's delicious, and it's good, and it's certainly better for you. Joe, just an amazing job you've been able to pull off in just a couple of years. You and your team have been able to pull this off. Keep up the good work, young man.
Thank you.
Cheers. You mind if I have a quick sip?
Only if we can.
No, let's do it. Cheers. Golden Brew, again, from Potosi. This is available wherever you get your delicious Potosi beers.